So I came across this meme, and it got me thinking I could definitely build a device like this, where you can message through Wi-Fi. All you have to do is alert your neighbors that they're being an absolute dick through the Wi-Fi network. The rest of your new roommates, if you can't deliver a message, just unplug the router, and when they go looking in the settings for what is happening to the Wi-Fi, they'll get your message. Just make an access point on an ESP32 and then plug it into a wall and have this device. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna build that today. Alright, so I have some parts here. We got an ESP32C6 as usual, and we have this just normal, power adapter that we're gonna use to make the whole device that will let this ESP32 go in here. We can use this USB-C here just to solder right to this USB so we can get the 5 volts out of it. And then we have an antenna. This is kind of on the 3D printed part, so we'll probably rip this off, but just a little Seed Studio antenna that we can use to get the maximal amount of range for this. Hopefully this is enough range to reach our neighbors, so we're gonna have to go on a walk and see how far it'll go. And yeah, let's just go ahead and start building this. We'll probably have to start by breaking this thing apart. Fuck. Bro. Alright, I'm gonna try to crack this open. We'll be back. Okay. This is really dangerous, by the way. We don't know if this is discharged. You have to be very careful. These capacitors, especially with the AC to DC converter like this, they can hold a lot of voltage. So you never want to just, get your hands in here like this. Definitely don't try this at home. Frankly, I don't know why the they did this. Okay, we gotta be careful. Let's just put some gloves on. Now we're protected from electricity, in theory. So it looks like we made this more complicated for ourselves because we kind of need to solder this thing back because it was just basically press fit together. Actually, look at that. It just kind of clips in there. So that's good. Okay, so we could just, super glue the hell out of this thing, and we basically all we really care about is the output of 5 volts. So as long as we can get something soldered together here, I guess we do kind of gotta care about interference. Might just end up doing something like this. We're just gonna make the enclosure just a little bit bigger. All we really care about is plugging in this, ESP32, and then we can just make an access point. So this is gonna be pretty easy, and I assume we'll just make it host its own page as well as the access point, which you would go into and edit the message, maybe by scanning a QR code that we can put on the side of it as a sticker. So what I'll do is just, I think I might just solder. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so by the looks of it, it seems that, we can do a couple things. We can solder directly to these pins here, which is definitely really dumb. We could remove the USB port. If we do that, we're basically just need to get the 5 volts on the ground. We don't really care about the data, we just need to power this thing. I know, don't bully me. I had to cover the logo. It's really bad, I understand, but for any of you who don't criticize my soldering iron, and you do wonder what this fancy wireless thing is, USB-C, this is a Fantic, not sponsored. I will say, it is great to have a soldering iron, variable temperature, auto off, and an IMU to sense if you're using it or not, that heats up pretty fast for little projects like this. It's quite nice to have, I'm not gonna lie. Wires sticking out of the back of this thing when you're trying to, and it's hot, and there's that stupid stand, it's really dumb. But people have criticized me for using this one in particular. And look at that, it's green. So I'm pretty sure, if you can see, that the solder mask is definitely this guy right here. I'm just gonna guess, because it looks like solder mask goes to the ground. So I'll say this is our ground, and that's gonna be our V-bus, which is gonna be perfect. So we'll go ahead and probably damn, this guy really doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Cut off my fucking back, you piece of shit. I'm kidding. A little bit of tape never hurt no one. Boom. Maybe I should have fixed the length before I did that. We use leaded solder because we want to make the future of our life very difficult. A little bit of PB, dude. Not really. Looks good to me. So, got our multimeter set to continuity. I just want to go ahead and check. Once I got the ground pin, then we're good to go. Pretty sure they're connected. Great. So now that we have that set squared away, we'll go ahead and wire up the V-bus. Okay, so being the responsible human that I am, I definitely want to shield all of this high voltage to low voltage away from the signal of the ESP32 going on here. So what I think I might do is just have it essentially go into a different compartment, and then we could put a little bit of a tinfoil hat between the two, if you know what I mean. So I think that's probably the best bet. And then the enclosure can be pretty small. We can still keep the bottom piece where it's going to be plugging into the wall, but we'll separate it from left and right, which means everything on the left is going to be this converter with all of this whatever. We'll have a Faraday cage in between the two, and on this side we'll have the Wi-Fi business end, if you will. So let's go ahead and chop these up and see if we can get a rough form factor as to what we need, and then we can start designing the enclosure for this thing.
Step is to flip the lamp troughs. A little bit of a bang. Oh shit, wrong shit.
So this is what I came up with. We have this little enclosure right here. This is where that, as we mentioned before, there's an antenna that we'll need. We'll put this antenna here, and we'll thread the wire with the port to go onto the ESP32 right through this hole. And then the ESP32 and the wire will sit around here and go around. This is where we'll put tinfoil, maybe on both sides. We could just put a little bit of glue and a little bit of tinfoil in there, just in case, just good practice, whatever. And the rest of the plug power supply is going to be fit in here. Then we have a good amount of chamfered holes for screwing directly into the plug. That's the remainder. You'll see me doing that. That way we just drill in and we can have a good mounting point so that when we pull this out of the wall, we're not going to break it, hopefully. So we'll see how good it does. We have a little spot for the QR code that you'll scan to get to our access point front end. And then in the very front here, Y message. So yeah, let's, we got it sliced here in bamboo. So we'll just go ahead and send it over. Okay, so opened up Grok 3, whatevs. I need to just basically get this thing started, like something random. So I'm just having it go through and generate me a web page. And this is going to be really simple. So it's just going to be broadcasting the web page that you can change the AP continuously as long as you have the password. So we'll probably need to set that. So we will need to set the password as well. And yeah, so it'll just be hosting this web page roughly, and I have some other things in here, blah blah blah. So let's just go ahead and get it to, and start us off with something, and we'll see if that works one shot, but we'll probably have to make some changes. Okay, so just went ahead and flashed this, and turned out pretty good. So now we have a little Y message and broadcast your Wi-Fi to your local area. Don't worry, it's anonymous. So we'll just go ahead and enter the message and just say like, shut your damn dog up. We'll put in the password, which I think is admin123. Go ahead and broadcast this. Okay, so new SSID is shut your damn dog up, which is not going to be that. There you go, shut your damn dog up. Boom. And now the AP is broadcasting at shut your damn dog up. So, pretty good demo. That's good enough. I don't really care. Thank you, Grok. You killed it in one shot. Except not really. There was a couple errors, but not a big deal. So, wait for this print to be done and throw her inside of there, and we're done. Okay, let's see if we can speed run this. This kind of thing going on here. Heat up the glue gun and get a little glue in there, but we can't. Fuck. Well, yeah, we did it. A final product. Ready to go and ready to prank your neighbors. Or whatever you'd want to use it for. Maybe your roommates. Whoever it is. I think it did really well. I like the overall look of it. I think it's pretty clean. We made use of existing products. We did it with just what we had laying around. So I think this one's a win. This is a big success. I don't think I'll iterate this one. No part 2. If you didn't check out the last video where I designed an autofocus system for my film camera lens, check that out. There will be more videos of us just coming up with ideas, memes to products, or who knows what else we'll come up with. But thank you for watching, and roll the final reveal.